Welcome to the Average Angler Shed. We're about to talk today about a little product that I've just bought to solve a problem. Well, I'm actually having a little bit of an issue with it, and that is this. Now, this is 3 products, so I've bought all 3, and they come in little boxes like these ones. And they, as you can see on there, they're called the Interlok winder trays from Preston, and they come in 3 different sizes, okay? And they all interlock together. Just brilliant little product, and as you can see, look, they're all linked together, so I can hold any one. They're all joined together, and you can disconnect them and reconnect them, and you can do different configurations. Let's see if I can show you this one. So I've also bought me some more with the blue ones because I feel like that's the size I'm going to use a lot of. So there's another configurations, and you can do any. You can have 4 red ones, 4 blue ones, or 2s and 1s of each. You can see how it goes. You can work it out for yourselves. It's not rocket science. So what possible problem could we have with this simple product? I mean, you make the configuration that you want, you drop it in there, and it works lovely. I can't fault the product on that front. It's brilliant. If I don't like that configuration, take it out. I can put another configuration in. Great. I'll keep one of these. I could keep a stack of these on the side if I wanted, and I could just slide out the ones I want for fishing that day. Then I ain't got to buy a load of units. Brilliant. Well, the problem is this. I've got 2 of these. I've got 2 units I want to use. I need an extra unit to sit on because my legs are a bit longer, so I have an extra unit underneath my box anyway. So I might as well fill it up with rigs and line and make use of it. It doesn't want to fit in. It does not want to fit it in there. Now it will fit in there if I push it, but I'm not going to push it in because I have to then get a tool to get it out, which is not right. So there's something wrong, and we need to understand what it is. Now what this here is a absolute metal tray. So the absolute trays are made from metal, and this is what came with my absolute 30 box. This tray underneath is a more modern with the maglock system on. This is the one without the maglock system on. The one with the maglock system on, but it's actually an Inception tray because they're cheaper and they're plastic. So I bought the plastic Inception ones because they fit straight on top of the absolute ones anyway. So that's a little tip for you. But for some reason, yeah, the newer plastic one is fine. The newer plastic cheaper one is fine from the Inception. But we have an issue with, let's put that to one side, trying to get these trays into the metal absolute, the better product. Now I suspect that these sides are warped. In fact, when I got my rule out, and you probably won't see it on the camera, but when I got my rule out and lay it down there, you can see that they're coming in the middle. So we're going to have a little go at trying to open that out without wrecking them. Now this, from my original Absolute, you used to sit on the end there and you used to wedge your winders in against that years ago. And what he does is he fits just nicely in at the end, but if I drag him down slowly, he gets to here, he's touching now. He was loose at the end, and he's touching and he's touching and he's touching, and then all of a sudden he comes free, you see, and then he's loose again. So we definitely narrow it in the middle. I've checked all over, making sure there's no damage or anything. I was thinking if there's some damage and I reverse the damage, maybe it will just square back up. It's got rivets in it. It all seems to be pretty decent, like pretty good and like original. So I'm not 100% sure where it's moved. So I was just wondering if as you hinge these back, these like become part of the hinge, the weight in the tray and stuff, maybe there's just a bit of flex on those. So I'm going to try and just flex them back. I'm going to use this as my guide because I know that when this is like just loose in there, that's right. So I want to try and get that just loose in the middle. So I'm just going to find an adjustable spanner to start me off. I think that might be my best starting tool. Right, found my adjustable spanner. It was in my car. I couldn't work out why I couldn't find it. So what I'm going to do is just put the adjustable spanner on the side there. And he's quite tight, so I'm just going to flex him back until he's not tight, which is hardly any flex at all. Comes loose, but it springs back. It's metal, so it will spring back a little bit. You've got to go past what you're comfortable with. I don't want to start striking it with anything just yet. It might be that I've got to put something in the middle and jack it out. definitely looser than it was. Still a bit tight in the middle there. The thing that concerns me is that flexing it out really just makes the top go and not the bottom. I do wonder if I want to just strike down on that part on the end of my table and just strike down there with a soft hammer and just see if I can get the bottom of it to go in. Now I want to be, if I'm hitting there again, I'm hitting here, and I want to be getting right in there. So I wonder if I've got something I can use. It's doing anything, to be honest. Well, I've done something. It's in there, it's just catching here. It's catching on this piece here now. Just there. So either that side or this side needs to go in. I don't know if that made a difference, but it's definitely better. So I'm not striking it like that because I've got these plastic pieces. So I don't want it to sit on a plastic piece and hit it. I want the metal to sit across the table and the two plastic pieces are overhanging, so that I don't do any damage. And I want to try and get as close into the back of that as possible. It's quite awkward for me to do it because I'm doing it in a position so that you guys can see it as well. It's so close now. I'm going to try something else which I just thought about. I feel like I can squeeze that and it will pull it in, because I don't want to do a lot of damage to it. Get this towel, put that on first. Go all the way to the bottom and then just give it a gentle squeeze. I don't want to cause any sort of creases or any damage. Just want to encourage it to fold in a little. Do that in 3 places on both sides. Definitely moved then. Put a little crease in it that time because I was a bit too vicious with it. Quite snug still, but it's nearly there. See, I can move it around with things and I can get it out. If I'm honest, it's enough for me. I'm quite happy for it to be snug because I don't want it to come out. Compared to this one, so I'll just show you again. So we're comparing like for like. The other newer unit just drops in, but it is a dead fit, but you can just do that with it. This blue configuration seems to be a lot tighter than the all blue seems to be a lot tighter, so you can see, like, if I do it I can push it in, but when I try and lift it out in the middle it is a bit tighter. But I'm going to go with that. I'm happy with that. That has worked enough for it to be functional. Let's just check we haven't wrecked it and it still all clips together. Yep, there we are, we're all clipping together, we're all sealed. Looks very dirty there, just come straight off my used box, but there. So we've got no problems. We've moved it enough to cause it to misalign. There's obviously a fair bit of play in that. There we are. So if you think, if you think about giving these products a go, just be careful, make sure your box is not too battered up and tattered up, because people don't really talk about that. Obviously, whenever you see the sponsored anglers doing it, they've got a brand new kit or whatever. I've gone a lot for the blue ones, so I feel like they're going to be, we can talk a little bit about trays if you want. This blue ones, which I think are 18 centimetres, they're going to be for my sort of slim floats that I use for 80% of my fishing. So they'll have all them on, and there's another one of those for those there. If it turns out that I don't need that many, I can always get myself another one of these red ones and have 2 red ones, because these are more for like dibbers, little margin floats, little slapping floats and that. But even, and my thinking was that if I haven't got enough space here for those, I can still just put them on the blue ones, because I've probably got more blue ones than I need. Whereas if I have just red ones, I might not get my slims on there. Some of my slim floats might not fit. So have a look what we've got. I'm just going to use an example here of one that's just going to, you know, that's not an unreasonable size slim float that people might use, and it's just not long enough, whereas it's perfect. From there, I've got lots of different slim floats, so you know, use what you use. I am more and more using the Preston ones, to be fair. That's it really. The big ones are, I probably want one tray. There's a few venues locally that are sort of 10 foot deep, 8 foot to 10 foot deep, and you might just want a bigger, longer bodied float for those. So I'll probably just have some of those, or a paste rig perhaps. Might have a couple of paste rigs on those as well, which I don't do a lot of these days. I'll like about these Preston winders is they've got a double winder, so you can get 2 rigs on them. All of them are double winders, which is nice. I normally go for 3 rigs on my other winders, but with this new setup I'm going to stick with 2. So keep tuning, I'll tell you how I get on with it. You'll be able to see how I get on with it. And I'm going to now spend the next hour sitting in the kitchen transferring some of my rigs onto these. Oh, another thing that I like about these that I didn't have on my winders is this style of peg that's raised up so that you can put the loop on it. I always put my rigs on with just a loop. Unless I've used them, then I'll leave the hook length on so they know that it's a used rig. That's the way I'll identify between a used rig and an unused rig. But the loop being like that is better than like this, because you end up, when you put it over that, it doesn't kink your loop any. When you put it over a pin like that, it's hard to show here, but when you leave it on there for some time, your loop ends up with a little kink in the end. But on this style of loop, you don't get that. This style of loop holder, you don't get that. You can see that. Hopefully that's coming out on the camera. If not, I'll just edit it out, don't worry. So there we are. I'll let you know how I get on with it, but I feel like that's been enough of a result. So you probably find I'll fit in yours just like that. You have no problem, but if it's tight, don't think, oh, you know, it might be your tray's naff, because these aren't going to be wrong, because they're plastic injection molded and they'll be identical. Because that's just the nature of it, injection molding. It's very, very accurate. Okay guys, catch you in a bit.